G'day, I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And we're from Good Game on the ABC.
So thanks for coming along today, guys. It's been fantastic. And just thought we'd take this opportunity to ask you what some of your favourite memories are of playing games from the 80s.
The 80s. I lived on a farm in the 80s, so I was on my own a lot of the time, and I started with the Atari 2600, so my first real game I think was Mrs. Pacman for some reason. Mrs. Pacman, I don't know. Was it Miss? Was she married?
It was like Ms. I think it was like
It was Ms.
Like
Pacman.
non-specific.
Yeah.
It's very politically correct.
I loved, I just loved the challenge and the dexterity needed, because in those days it was all about timing and hitting the button at the right time, whereas it's not so much about that now in many games. So I love the challenge of trying to get that high score, the highest score possible, and trying to work out the best way and the strategy to do it, to get across with Frog Run, all that sort of stuff. So I guess they're my great memories. I remember the disappointing memories of buying an awesome looking game with an amazing cover and art design, and then actually playing it and having to hold the cover up to the screen to try and work out who each dude was. You know, it's like, oh, that's the guy with the sword, oh, that's the snake, okay, cool. So that's kind of my memories from the 80s. It was, yeah, I loved it.
I had very non-gaming parents. They were not for it, let's just say that. So it was a long time before I got to my first game, and it was actually a game that was from the 80s, I think maybe even 70s, I think we were just listening to some talks when text-based role-playing started, so MUDs. And I was playing that well into the sort of, Nintendo 64 era, and people were sort of getting into that, whereas I was like, typing away, no graphics. And the beauty of it was that we'd moved past that, so that people didn't really know what I was doing. Most of my parents, who just sort of thought I was doing some kind of research or homework or something like that. And I think what I loved about it was that, it was people from all over the world who'd created these characters in this entirely text-based world. And it's almost like we were collectively writing a book. Like, we fueled all our own role-play scenarios and all our character histories and bios and descriptions and everything were all created, by ourselves, and we had complete freedom in our gaming experience, which I think it's unmatched, in my opinion, by anything that I've been able to experience graphically in today's gaming. And that's a big thing to say, because when you think about what we're capable of doing, with technology now in gaming, I think there's something about that kind of collective roleplay experience that was just, so unique, and I have the fondest memories. I still think back on it, and I had friends in high school, and we all played together, and we'd get on in the computer labs at lunch, and the teachers would be like, "What are you doing?" We're like, but there were no graphics, so how could they know? It's cool.
The 80s it was a tough time for games too, because it was the biggest, strongest memory I have is when games kind of crashed, when it was, you'd get a flood, especially on the Atari, but on the computers as well, you just get a flood of these really terrible games, really awful, just really, really terrible, awful games, which really hurt the industry, and there were so many people saying, games, it's fad, it's over, it's finished, because it was just, you'd buy it at the same price, and it was just rubbish and rubbish and rubbish, and I think you kind of see that on the iPhone a little bit now, like the Apple Store, it's kind of got that cluttered marketplace, and that's kind of hurting the platform now.
It's such a minefield too. So you sort of look at it, you think it's going to be good, and then you buy it for like $6 or $12.
Oh, it's one level, and I've played this game before with a different set of art
Creed.
over it.
I love Assassin's Creed for the iPhone.
It was a tough time, but Mario saved us. Mario came along with a character and a story and an idea and interesting graphics to look at, and a console that it came with, and it saved games in many ways. Yeah. Anyway,
Thanks a lot, guys.
I hope that was alright.